Topic 5. Developing the Security Program. Security Organization. Some organizations use the term security program to describe the entire set of personnel, plans, policies, and initiatives related to information security. The term Information Security Program is used here to describe the structure and organization of the effort that strives to contain risks to the information assets of the organization. Among the variables that determine how to structure an information security program are organizational culture, size, security personnel budget, and security capital budget. As organizations get larger in size, their security departments are not keeping up with the demands of increasingly complex organizational infrastructures. Security spending per user and per machine declines exponentially as organizations grow, leaving most handcuffed when it comes to implementing effective security procedures. Functions needed for information security program implementation include risk assessment, risk management, systems testing, policy development, legal assessment, incident response, planning, measurement, compliance, centralized authentication, system security administration, training, network security administration, and vulnerability assessments. Information security in large organizations tend to form and reform internal groups to meet long-term challenges, even as they handle day-to-day security operations. Functions are likely to be split into groups. In contrast, smaller organizations typically create fewer groups, perhaps having only one general group of specialists. One recommended approach for large organizations is to separate the functions into those performed by non-technology business units outside of the IT area of management control, such as legal and training, those performed by IT groups outside of the information security area of management control, such as systems security administration, network security administration, and centralized authentication, those performed within the information security department as a customer service to the organization and its external partners, such as risk assessment, system testing, incident response planning, disaster recovery planning, performance measurement, and vulnerability assessment, and those performed within the information security department as a compliance enforcement obligation, such as policy, compliance audits, and risk management. This slide shows how an information security organization may be staffed in a large organization. In a large organization, it remains the CISO's responsibility to see that information security functions are adequately performed somewhere within the organization. The deployment of full-time security personnel depends on a number of factors, including sensitivity of the information to be protected, industry regulations, and general profitability. The more money the company can dedicate to its personnel budget, the more likely it is to maintain a large information security staff. This slide illustrates one possible approach to information security staffing in a very large organization. Notice that there is more specialization. Medium-sized organizations may still be large enough to implement the multi-tiered approach to security described for large organizations, though perhaps with fewer dedicated groups and more functions assigned to each group. In a medium-sized organization, more of the functional areas are assigned to other departments within IT, but outside of the information security department, especially the central authentication function. The medium-sized organization may only have one full-time security person, with perhaps 3 individuals with part-time information security responsibilities. This slide illustrates how a medium organization might organize information security staffing. In a small organization, information security often becomes the responsibility of a jack of all trades, a single security administrator with perhaps 1 or 2 assistants for managing the technical components. Not uncommon in smaller organizations to have the systems or network administrators play these many roles. Because resources are often limited in smaller organizations, the security administrator frequently turns to freeware or open source software to lower the costs of assessing and implementing security. In small organizations, security training and awareness is most commonly conducted on a one-on-one basis, with the security administrator providing advice to users as needed. Some feel that small organizations, to their advantage, avoid some threats precisely because of their small size. Threats from insiders are also less likely in an environment where every employee knows every other employee. In general, the less anonymity an employee has, the less likely he or she feels able to get away with abuse or misuse of company assets. Smaller organizations typically have either one individual who has full-time duties in information security, or more likely, one individual who manages or conducts information security duties in addition to those of other functional areas, most likely information technology, and possibly with 1 or 2 assistants. This slide shows how information security might be staffed in a smaller organization. Primary difference between this organization and that of the mid-size organization is that the security manager may very well be part-time. In large organizations, information security is often located within the information technology department, headed by the CISO, who reports directly to the top computing executive or CIO. By its very nature, an information security program is sometimes at odds with the goals and objectives of the IT department as a whole. Because the goals and objectives of the CIO and the CISO may come into conflict, it is not difficult to understand the current movement to separate information security from the IT division. The challenge is to design a reporting structure for the information security program that balances the needs of each of the communities of interest. The information security needs of any organization are unique to the culture, size, and budget of that organization. Determining what level the information security program operates on depends on the organization's strategic plan, and in particular on the plan's vision and mission statements. The CIO and CISO should use these 2 documents to formulate the mission statement for the information security program. The National Institute of Standards and Technology lists a number of elements for a security program. These include policy, program management, risk management, life cycle planning, personnel and user issues, preparing for contingencies and disasters, security incident handling, awareness and training, considerations in computer support and operations, physical and environmental security, identification and authentication, logical access control, audit trails, and cryptography. According to Schwartz and others, information security positions can be classified into one of 3 types: those that define, those that build, and those that administer. Definers provide the policies, guidelines, and standards. They're the people who do the consulting and risk assessment, who develop the product and technical architectures. These are senior people with a lot of broad knowledge, but often not a lot of depth. Then you have the builders. They're the real techies who create and install security solutions. Finally, you have the people who operate and administrate the security tools, the security monitoring function, and the people who continuously improve the processes. A typical organization has a number of individuals with information security responsibilities. While the titles may be different, most of the job functions fit into one of the following: Chief Information Security Officer or Chief Security Officer, Security Managers, Security Administrators and Analysts, Security Technicians, Security Staffers and Watchstanders, Security Consultants, Security Officers and Investigators, and Help Desk Personnel. Please recognize that many older organizations may fall back to that old standard of system analysis or system programming and analysis to cover the title of a security function. The Chief Information Security Officer, or in some cases the CSO, is primarily responsible for the assessment, management, and implementation of the program that secures the organization's information. The senior executive responsible for security may also be called the Director of Security, Senior Security Manager, or some similar title. The CISO usually reports directly to the CIO, although in larger organizations, one or more additional layers of management may separate the two officers. Most organizations use the title Chief Security Officer to describe the CISO. The more mature and often larger organizations will use the CSO title to identify a role that is responsible for the convergence of the physical and IT risks into one complete program to control all those risks. Some, however, will simply call the senior executive for physical security the CSO and define a role for the CSO that is not integrated into a holistic risk management program. Security managers are accountable for the day-to-day operations of the information security program. They accomplish objectives identified by the CISO, and they resolve issues identified by technicians, administrators, analysts, or staffers whom they supervise. Managing security requires an understanding of technology, but not necessarily technical mastery. The security administrator is a hybrid of a security technician and a security manager, with both technical knowledge and managerial skill. The security analyst is a specialized security administrator that, in addition to performing security administration duties, must analyze and design security solutions within a specific domain. Security analysts must be able to identify users' needs and understand the technological complexities and capabilities of the security systems they design. Security technicians are the technically qualified individuals who configure firewalls and IDPSs, implement security software, diagnose and troubleshoot problems, and coordinate with systems and network administrators to ensure that security technology is properly implemented. A security technician is usually an entry-level position, but one that requires strong technical skills, which can make this job challenging for those who are new to the field, given that it is difficult to get the job without experience, and yet experience comes with the job. Security technicians who want to move up in the corporate hierarchy must expand their technical knowledge horizontally, gaining an understanding of the general organizational issues of information security as well as all technical areas. Security staffer is a catch-all title that applies to those who perform routine watchstanding or administrative activities. The term watchstander includes people who watch intrusion consoles, monitor email accounts, and perform other routine yet critical roles that support the mission of the Information Security Department. Security watchstanders are often entry-level information security professionals responsible for monitoring some aspect of the organization's security posture, whether technical or managerial. In this position, new information security professionals have the opportunity to learn more about the organization's information security program before becoming critical components of its administration. The information security consultant is typically an independent expert in some aspect of information security. He or she is usually brought in when the organization makes a decision to outsource one or more aspects of its security program. While it is usually preferable to involve a formal security services company, qualified individual consultants are available for hire. Occasionally, the physical security and information security programs are blended into a single converged functional unit. When that occurs, several roles are added to the pure IT security program, including physical security officers and investigators. Sometimes referred to as the guards, gates, and guns aspect of security, these roles are often closely related to law enforcement and may rely on employing persons trained in law enforcement and/or criminal justice. An important part of the information security team is the help desk, which enhances the security team's ability to identify potential problems. When a user calls the help desk with a complaint about his or her computer, the network, or an internet connection, the user's problem may turn out to be related to a bigger problem, such as a hacker, denial of service attack, or a virus. Because help desk technicians perform a specialized role in information security, they have a need for specialized training.